Hi, my name's Joe, and we're standing on the traditional lands of the Piscataway and the Susquehanna peoples. We're here at the Pearlstone doing another video on wild edibles on this beautiful 180-acre campus. So what we have here is one of my favorite plants for the springtime, and it's called sassafras. And this plant is wonderful all year long. And at sassafras, the great thing about it that you can always identify it is it has 3 leaves. It has one leaf that's solid like any other tree. It has another leaf like a mitten. And the last leaf like, woo, Casper the Ghost. They're all equally delicious. And when you eat them, it leaves a nice mucilaginous taste in your mouth. Now, if you go down to Louisiana and you go to the grocery stores, or you go to a Cajun cooking thing, they have an ingredient called phyllo. And it's these larger leaves, dried and made into a powder. And you can see it on the restaurant bars sometimes that you can sprinkle it on your food. And it's used for a gumbo thickener. And if you look at the ingredients in phyllo, it says 100% sassafras leaves. Now, what I like to use this plant for in the winter is 2 things. I like to take its roots and dig them out of the ground and simmer the roots for a little while. And I'll use them several times, and I'll make a wonderful root beer tea. It is one of my favorite teas to drink. And then there's another type of tea. If you take the young growth on the trees, it makes a kind of lemony type tea. And the last thing is sassafras sticks, which I also use in the winter or in the rain, have a nice waxy covering. So if you're trying to make your fire out in the woods and it's been raining for a few days, sassafras sticks will still light and still burn non-smoky. So sassafras twigs are a great fire starter. And if you want to make a bow drill fire, sassafras wood is pretty decent for that too. And lastly about sassafras, back in the old day when you had big growth sassafras, a lot of farmers used sassafras to side their barns and side their houses. Unfortunately, you'll see sassafras is now mostly about this size because most of those have been clear cut. But this is a plant that you will learn to love, sassafras. So we just came around the corner now here to our second plant for today, the plant that gives a lot of food. And this plant is called bamboo. And a lot of people will tell you about clumping or running bamboos, and that's not really accurate. Almost all clumping bamboos will run if put in the wrong spot. So if you wish to plant bamboo on a property, you want to plant it on a flat surface, and you don't want to plant it near pipes, and you don't want to plant it near a hill or a river, because then the bamboo is going to run and escape. One of the ways that you can keep bamboo in check is by eating it. And I've seen non-native invasive plant cleanups where they're trying to get rid of bamboo and they keep cutting it down and cutting it down. And by simply having a kids class by bamboo and being allowed to harvest it for food, we've made the bamboo patch get smaller and smaller. And so bamboo is a great food, and we'll show you what to do for gathering bamboo. Let's look down right here and we'll see these young shoots. You can get them as tall as this shoot here, or you can get them preferably about this tall. If you do get a shoot this tall, you're going to want to cut the bottom bit off. Let's pick that up here. Next, we want to start processing the bamboo for harvesting so we can eat it. And this is a lot of food. And maybe you get 40, 50 shoots. The bigger shoots, in my view, taste just as good as the smaller shoots. The smaller shoots are more expensive in the store because it takes a lot more work for the same amount of weight. So what I'm going to do is take the shoots, I'm going to cut off some of the top pieces, and now I'm going to start pulling off the leaves on the outside. So you can see here, I'm going to start removing the outer layers. And you can do this almost any bamboo growing in this area. I'm not sure about some of the Asian ones, but we're in the mid-Atlantic right here. So this type of bamboo, I don't know what the name of this one is. There's different species, like nudum is a really common one around here. And you can see I keep peeling away all the hard fibrous pieces till at last I have this nice long shoot of bamboo. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to take this bamboo and I'm going to feel up to about this bit up. This is where it's soft, so it's edible from here up. And what I'm going to do is boil a bunch of shoots in water for about a minimum of 40 minutes. And when I'm boiling them, the last step I need to do is I am going to need to cut it open. And the reason you cut it open is because the bamboo has little hollow spots, and when you're boiling it, if you do not cut it open, they explode and put boiling water on your face. After you boil them for 40 minutes, you can do whatever you want with the bamboo. You can stir fry it, cook it in oil, add salt and pepper. Any Chinese takeout stir fries will have bamboo shoots. They taste lovely. There's almost no limit to what you can do with these. But it's really important to boil them for a minimum of 40 minutes because of toxic chemicals in the bamboo that you need to get rid of before you can eat it. So don't eat this plant raw. Cook it first and do what you want with it. Bamboo is not just an invasive, but it's a valuable resource for many projects and many things, and definitely a great source of an abundant source of food that's out right now. Alright, so this is a plant that's just coming out right now, and it is called Blackberry. And we also have black raspberry here, and wineberry, or called Asian raspberry. But this plant has got a unique use right now before the berries come out. You can use the leaves or the roots, so you can use this plant 12 months a year. And this is a great plant to know if you have explosive diarrhea. So the best thing about this plant is you can take some of the green leaves, and then you would simmer them for a little while until the water turns a little bit of a brownish color. And then you can take that tea and drink it, and you'll get strong effects within 15 minutes, and within half an hour your diarrhea is gone. And I've tried this about 15 times, and it's worked great. Some people claim that wineberry and black raspberry have the same properties, and it works well too. I've tried those about 3 or 4 times. It does not work so well. So blackberry leaves or blackberry roots are what you want if you've got any sort of diarrhea. So, and you can see over here on the blackberry there is a praying mantis egg sac, and then there's another one in the bushes right there. This happens to be the larger praying mantis, the one that came from Asia, not the native one, but we have native praying mantis egg sacs here too. It's a little early in the season for this plant right here, but I want to show you one of my favorites. It is called Greenbrier, and this is probably the deer's most favorite food on this campus. Other favorite foods might be strawberry bush. And so what we can look at is these young tips that we can eat, or we can find bigger ones right here. You can see how this whole thing grows up, and the ones that have the ants growing on or climbing on usually have more sugar, so they taste better. But this is a lot of food. It tastes like asparagus or similar, and I really like it. And so Greenbrier is a huge source of food in the woods at this time. I met someone who was about 96 years old, and I said, "What's your secret?" He said, "Well, I still smoke a little, I drink a little, but I'll tell you what, every summer that I'm out, I eat as much Greenbrier shoots as I can." Other uses of Greenbrier are the roots, grinding it up for a flour. Native Americans used to carry some of the root powder, which is really high in testosterone, as a form of energy, as a superfood energy. And this plant is really important in our ecosystem. Right now it's a little out of control, but again, if we did a fire through here, there would be lots of new shoots of Greenbrier, and it would be really beneficial for the ecosystem. So this is Greenbrier, and it's probably one of my favorite wild edibles, and I look forward to it every summer. Okay, this is another one of my favorite plants to come out in the spring. And this plant here is called field mustard. And if you get it confused with another type of mustard, no big deal. There's about 10 mustards, black mustard being one of them. They all look fairly close to each other, and they're all edible in the same way. So field mustard, I really love the tops. Well, I can just eat them whenever I want to. Yeah. And so you can cook them too. The leaves are edible as well. And if you want to make a real mustard out of field mustard, you can take the seeds, which are on here, and you can winnow them and grind them up, and you can make a mustard powder. You can also add vinegar and flour, and there's plenty of recipes on how to make real mustard that you're used to in the stores. And few people remember what are called mustard plasters, and they used to be used medically to bring heat into people's bodies. You can still buy them at some specialty stores. And so this is field mustard, a great edible plant to eat while you're out in the field